terms of state laws, legal, illegal, CBD or otherwise, once patients attain this medicine, if they've had to leave their own state to do so, once they've attained it legally, to get it home to their state is illegal. It is illegal to transport cannabis across any state lines. So people do run a risk of either losing their medicine or facing charges of some sort, depending on their state.
They're so desperate, and you just wish you could fly them out here and give them somewhere to stay and medicate them.
It's absurd, but what angers me more is when I hear patients talk about, either patients or parents talking about their children and how they want this so badly for their children, but they can't. I mean, I don't know, I'm a mother. There's nothing I wouldn't do to save my child, and there's nothing I wouldn't do to save me to be here for my child. I don't want to break the law, and I shouldn't be breaking the law to help myself. I did, for the most part, do everything that I needed to do to keep this as legal as possible.
You could have two cannabis legal states side by side, but still transporting cannabis across state lines is illegal. That being said, it's happening every day with families who are trying to treat a loved one or hoping for one last chance for themselves. So people are traveling to illegal states, attaining the medicine legally, and bringing it back is illegal. It's funny, we've had clients in cannabis illegal states saying, I don't care if I get caught, I want to show that I did the best I could to adhere to the law. So they would attain it legally in another state, knowing that it's illegal to bring it home, but still feeling that that might help in the court of law, that they did the best they could to stay within legal guidelines. So it's really sad to watch these families have to go through this and worry. It's one of the toughest parts of our company, and talking with these patients and going through it with them. It's very difficult.
Mark Peterson suffered from migraines and fibromyalgia as a result of exposure to heavy metals and toxins. He was on disability and had lost most of his quality of life. Let's hear what happened when Mark discovered the sacred plant.
Over 20 years ago, I was exposed to heavy metals, lead, cadmium, and arsenic in the community where I used to live. Herculaneum, Missouri, the lead smelting was the principal industry there. I remember times jogging around the track and not being able to see the other side of the track for the sulfur fumes. After high school and college, I made the mistake of moving back there, actually, and I actually purchased a house from my wife's grandfather who was dying of cancer. That's when things started getting really bad for me. When I got ill, basically one by one, everything fell away. I lost the new cars, the home, the marriage, the profession, and it took everything away. By 1997, I was on full disability, and it was also that year that I rediscovered cannabis. The thing that was the most remarkable about it was the return of my memory, and memories flowing back like Technicolor. These are important memories like the birth of my 3 children. And that was the most amazing thing, was I started finding out that my story wasn't anything unusual. There were people literally all over the country who were experiencing the medical benefits of cannabis. It's frustrating. It's frustrating because what I've realized in the state of Colorado, 90% of the people who need cannabis don't have access. The primary reason is it's cost prohibitive. There's the frustration in all this. You know, as I said, I've taught people all over the country how to make cannabis oil and how to make it the same way as I do. The production of other essential oils is virtually identical. But just that one element, cannabis, seems to make it all something else, something terrible. It doesn't make any sense. It's absolutely insane. Particularly when you realize that the medical programs for every state across this country, what were they started for? They were for the treatment of chronic and terminal illness. Here we are treating chronic and terminal illness, and the only thing that law enforcement and the courts can think about is money. That's all it's about. It's cartels on one side and law enforcement on the other side, and they're both after the same thing, money, and the patients are the ones who lose.
It's a shame. People shouldn't have to be forced to break the law to try this medicine. These patients are not people flying across the country to get a product to get high. These people are literally fighting for their life. Sometimes they can't even fly themselves. A different family member has to fly for them or drive for them, and in turn risking their livelihood. They may be arrested. They should not be forced to do this. You'd be surprised at who is doing this, whether they're clergy, medical researchers, to law enforcement, to, you name it. So yes, people are forced to break the law. We've seen some people trying to ship it back home. The medicine is intercepted and it doesn't make it home, and now that family is paid good money for that medicine, yet only to come home to not receive it, which is a shame when they're struggling financially anyway with their medical bills. So yes, we've seen that quite a bit. We've seen a family member drive to a legal state to attain the medicine, to drive it back to their home state for a loved one, and get stopped and arrested, facing felony charges because of that state's laws. It is a travesty. All we're trying to do, and all these people are trying to do, is save a loved one's life. These are not drug dealers. These are not recreational users. It breaks our heart every day. And I can say that in our office, tears are shed every day based on these struggles.
This isn't a joke. It's not a commentary. These are real lives. These are real people.